SCG Con, first day, all finished up for the day. I absolutely love SCG Con. It's so much fun. They always have so much going on. I love the fact that they bring in artists for all of this, for anyone to be able to get any of their favorite cards signed, to be able to interact with the people who helped to make this amazing art for this fantastic game. They sell all sorts of different things. They sell different play mats, prints, if you want to get altars done. I got so many different cards signed. That was the first thing that I did as soon as I got in. All the artists were right up in front as soon as you walked in the door. And the artists actually told me that they preferred that. They preferred to be right up front because there have been times where they've been to different cons and they're put over into the back or off to the side and people don't even know where they are. But now as soon as you walk in the door at SCG Con at Hartford, they're right there.
Anything particular about because it's a huge cat theme? Is there anything in particular that kind of inspires you to want to do cats more?
Keep asking me to draw cats. Honestly, cats used to be the thing I was really bad at drawing.
Got all set up for the Commander 5K, the CEDH 5K tomorrow. I had no idea what the hell I'm doing because I don't really know what I'm doing with CEDH. The only reason that I'm entering into this is because I want to throw my hat into the ring. I want to see what's the big deal with it. I never really understood that level of competitive gaming, and I want to know more. And whether it's something that I'm necessarily interested in or not, I'm not exactly sure. But, I have a deck built. It's absolute ass, but we'll go in there, we'll get some games in, we'll have a little bit of fun along the way. I got my playmat all set up for the event. What I like to do for whenever I go to any sort of cons or anything like that these days, whenever I get a new playmat or whatever playmat it is that I'm bringing, anybody who I play against, I love to have them sign it somewhere on the playmat. That gives me a good little memory of the event that I went to. I started doing this last year at Scrybaby Summerfest, and the playmat was absolutely covered in signatures. And I hope to be able to kind of keep that going here. I know that with the 5K event tomorrow, definitely going to be filling it up. We got entered into the Mystery Booster 2 sealed event. I pulled a lot of really fun things from there. I pulled a Jace Bellerin, I pulled a Tarnished Citadel, I pulled a Rot Hulk. I pulled a lot of really fun things. This is now the second time that I've done a Mystery Booster 2 sealed event. The first time I did, I ended up pulling a foil Snuff Out. This time I ended up pulling a regular Snuff Out. Nice little kind of coincidence that I ended up with that. Unfortunately, the deck that I put together was not very good. I wasn't really getting a whole lot of really good synergistic creatures. I had a couple of bits. I got a ton of reanimation. I think I pulled four or five black reanimation spells, but no creatures to be able to capitalize on and no way to be able to discard to be able to get anything to get the ball rolling with that sort of a strategy. So it wasn't really able to work out that well. I won my first round, but I lost every other round after that. But it was still a lot of fun. I love being able to interact with people. One of my opponents went in unsleeved, which I absolutely love. Nothing but respect for anybody who's going to go and take brand new cards and just raw dog the shit out of them right onto the table. And I love being able to talk to people. I love the gathering part of this game. Just being able to interact with people that you've never even met before and just have fun with them, even though you're probably never going to see these people again. But it's so refreshing to be able to go into this and know that everybody has that good common ground. And, whether you agree on anything else, you're able to sit down at the table and you're able to enjoy this love for this fantastic game that we all have this incredible passion for. I want to eventually do a video just about the gathering and about how people feel more comfortable, more in their own skin. I at least know that I do. That this game just allows me to kind of be more myself. It allows me to kind of let my hair down a little bit and relax a little bit more. And I love that about this, and I know that other people absolutely love it about it too. But yeah, so we're all finished up with day one. Can't wait for day two. An early day tomorrow. The 5K starts, I think, right away at 9 o'clock. Again, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing with this. I'm really just doing it for the sake of having fun and interacting with people, because I want to get as many games in as I possibly can. And to learn just a little bit more, because I want to see if I enjoy that sort of competitive aspect of the game. I love doing sealed events, I love doing limited, I love doing drafts, but this is something that's very new to me. I've never been in anything at least this large of scale in terms of competitive play. I'm going and playing a Rakdos deck. It's not going to do very well, I'm sure. Hopefully the shirt that I plan on wearing for tomorrow is going to intimidate my the other people at the table. But, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't wait to get to it tomorrow. So, you know, let's get to it. Day 2 SCG Con all finished up here. A lot of ways things went really great. A lot of ways things didn't go very great. So started off very early in the morning. Wanted to make sure that I was able to get to the convention center in time to make sure that I was ready to go for the CEDH 5K that we ran today. I was wearing my customary Rakdos colors. A little bit of an intimidation tactic. At least I was hoping that was going to be the case. That was not the case. I did not do very well over the course of the day. I went 0-5 for all 5 of the matches that I played. So I got 0 points throughout the course of the day. First round went much better than I thought it was going to go. I wasn't sure if my deck was going to be able to compete at all. It was actually able to hold up pretty well. I was able to advance my board state to the point where I was a threat, and I was able to start moving towards my win cons, but they were prevented by the opponents. I was trying to be cautious about when I was going to be able to move towards those sorts of things, but I didn't quite get to the point where I was 100% safe, and my spells ended up getting countered, and we ended up having somebody else win that round. Still, I was ecstatic over the fact that my deck was actually able to perform the way that I wanted it to. It was able to do the things that I wanted to do. It was able to slow down the game enough to be able to let me do what I want to do, because in Rakdos, I don't have counter spells, at least not a lot of them, and it's a much slower color combination to be able to work with. So I was able to kind of take my time and get everything the way that I wanted to go, and the fact that it worked out is incredible for me. Second match, nothing really kind of to talk about. I wasn't really able to kind of get my feet off the ground very much with it. I was able to do a little bit, but not enough to really establish very much onto the board over the course of the game. Third game, I am so happy with the fact that I recorded this and broke out my microphone as well to make sure that I recorded sound. It was a game of absolute chaos. There was only one player that was playing blue. There were no counterspells that were played, at least not ones that actually resolved. There was a point in the game where there was a... I had out a Vexing Bauble, an opponent had out a Collector Oof, we had out a Curse Totem, we had out some fucking lock piece from Kaldheim that I don't remember what it does. But they basically kind of reached a point where like everybody was locked and people weren't really able to do very much.
I'm going to get an opposition.
Worked out very well for me.
And I'm going to take 3 and cast an opposition.
Ooh, more stats.
Why not?
And you pass after that?
If that's good, if that resolves, I'm passing.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
A whole lot of bullshit.
We're going to hell.
Draw.
I'm taking you all with me.
Draw.
Love
I
it.
will.
I almost got a win. I waited until 2 out of the 3 players were completely tapped out. Third player still had open mana, but he wasn't really doing very much. I moved in for a win. Unfortunately, I got stopped. This was the blue player, but he didn't actually counter anything. He actually just ended up using a Solitude to knock out my Bloodthirsty Conqueror. I was going for an infinite loop damage win. that's the only kind of combos that this deck has. It doesn't really have that much going for it, but you know, I enjoy those sorts of older combos to kind of go with. And the whole time we're all laughing at the ridiculousness of how everything on the board is locked down, and like we're still doing things, we're still being proactive throughout the game, but we're not able to kind of move in the direction that is able to secure anybody in particular or win, because all of our pieces are locking each other down and it's just causing complete mayhem. But we were all just relishing in the chaos of it, and it was just so much fun. Definitely the most fun game I've ever had with CEDH. Probably one of the more fun Commander games that I've had in general. And it was a huge blast, and I would love to be able to pull off something like that again. Fourth game, unfortunately, again, not really kind of that much going on. If I remember correctly, I think that was a bit of a turbo win for somebody. I think everybody was done on about turn 3 or turn 4. So wasn't really able to get off the ground with that. And there was also only a 3-person pod. There were a lot of people dropping and being assholes by not telling them up front, or their system was fucked up. I don't know exactly what it was that was happening. Fourth game, same thing. It was only a 3-person pod. 2 players ended up going for a bit of a turbo win. My deck is not designed to be able to deal with that sort of speed that quickly, so I wasn't able to do much there. But it was a great experience. I was happy to see that there were, at least the people that I was playing with, they were interacting a lot, they were talking to each other, we were bantering, we were laughing. Like I said, that third game was just nothing but like hoarse laughter, all of us pointing fingers at each other.
Oh great, I can get an artifact that's turned off, and I have to cast it from exile, right? Can I not do that? No, this works. I can cast it, but I can be turned off.
This game is... No, you can't bring it from the field to the library.
One of the players at the table actually does a little bit of like rap hip hop sort of a deal, taking individual cards and rapping out all the text on them. It's a lot of fun. It does a fantastic job with it. I'll post up the name on here. I'll probably just superimpose whatever the name is of the individual. I can't remember it right off the top of my head, and I feel terrible about that. In between one of the rounds that we played, I had the opportunity to go over to one of the vendors that was doing these chaos packs, basically, is kind of what they were doing. There was a chance to be able to win one of the original dual lands, as well as a 10-pack of all 10 fetch lands. And I love a little bit of a gamble to go and throw into. I love cracking packs. I love the chaoticness of that sort of thing in general. And I figured, what the hell, I'll roll the dice with it.
Beep, 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 beep.
The last set of fetches.
All right. Can I trade the fetches for a duel?
Ended up picking up a pack that had the last bit of the 10 fetch lands. So I have now a full playset of all 10 fetch lands. It was a fantastic little kind of feeling. Really kind of balances out the costs of the box right there, and I get a deck box to go along with it. Really great kind of feeling to be able to get that. It was a fantastic little prize. I was really kind of hoping for one of the duels, particularly a Badland, so I can eventually throw it into my Prosper deck. But it was still really nice to be able to come away with something that really kind of had that value that I was looking for. And then after the tournament was all completely finished up, I wanted to do a little bit more. So, after wandering around a little bit, I wandered over to go into a draft for Tarkir Dragonstorm. No, I had a great time with that draft. I didn't get a chance to go and play it in terms of a limited or a draft environment yet, so I haven't really experienced it yet. Really fun environment to be able to draft in. I ended up going for more of a Jeskai Flurry kind of a feel for my deck. So the last pack that I pulled ended up being in Elspeth's Stormslayer in full art. It was a fantastically lucky pull, more than paid for the event. So that was a fantastic feeling. It didn't really help me out for the game itself. I ended up playing it in both of the games that I had in round 1, there was only one round that I had for it because I lost both of the games that I had there. But it's a fun little consolation prize that I have going away, and it's going to fit fantastically into a Balin tokens deck that I have. Hopefully it'll cause complete and utter mayhem there. Another thing that I was able to go and get set up for tomorrow, because I didn't realize that they had these sort of events until I got here, there is a Pauper event for tomorrow. So, as I showed in the first video that I have, I'm really enthusiastic about this particular format. It seems like a lot of fun. I really can't wait to kind of like dive more into it. This will be my first time doing anything competitive with it. So I'm really looking forward to that, seeing how I do with that. Even if I don't do well, it'll be great to be able to get some more experience with playing Pauper, get a little bit more time playing that particular format. I love being able to play these sorts of like weird kind of quirky decks, and I think that my little, what I call my Terror Fist decks, is going to be a fun little thing to be able to show people. And if nothing else, I'll be able to get a couple more games in, and I'll be able to get more signatures onto my playmat. It's great that people are like, oh, you know, that's a really fun thing for you to do at any sort of conventions. And it's a great way to kind of remind me of the event and remind me of the games that I've played, even if it's not games that I've done well in. You know, it's more about the fact that I'm able to look at it and be like, wow, I played so many games and I must have had so much fun with all that. All right, so looking forward to tomorrow. Hopefully I can get a couple of games in of just like some casual EDH with some people. I just need to kind of get up the courage to go up to some random people and be like, hey, you know, do you want to play a quick game? Or go up to a content creator. I know Alan from Misplay is there, and from what I've heard from other people, he's usually very enthusiastic about playing games with random people. I met him once before and he was such a nice guy. And then hopefully things will go well with Pauper and I can get in a few more games. I have a couple more artists that I'd like to go and get cards signed from. Just their lines have been astronomical the last few days, so I'm going to try to hit that up right away when I get there. But that is all for today. I know I am ready for a drink, so we'll see you tomorrow. That was a 4-hour drive that should have been a 3-hour drive. Fucking traffic getting out of Connecticut was a pain in the ass. Last day of SCG Con Hartford. Fantastic time, even though I didn't spend the entire time there. I got there very nice and early. There was a particular artist that I really wanted to get a signature from, and his line was astronomical. Going into the last day, it was Richard Kane Ferguson. He does this very like wavelength kind of look to a lot of the art that he does, and it's absolutely fantastic. His line was wrapped around the artist section pretty much all day Saturday. So Sunday, a handful of people got there extra early to get in line for him, and thankfully I was the third person there, so there was only a few people ahead of me, and he was so nice. He was very generous. He was very appreciative of everybody that was there, as were all the other artists. After that, I went over and I checked in the command zone to see if there were any events that were firing over the course of the day, and thankfully there was a casual commander event that was running, so I used my last ticket for that. While waiting for that to get started, I decided to go over around to some of the other booths to see what their buy lists were. And I saw one that had a good number of cards that I had in my collection that I really wasn't using at the time. So I started pulling a handful of things out of the binders, and then handed my binders to one of the gentlemen that was checking all the cards, and just said, you know, go through them, you know, see if there's anything. I figured he'd pick out maybe like a dozen or so cards. He picked out probably about 150 cards out of my binders. Commander game was fantastic. We were all looking to play like a level 3 bracket for the game, but I couldn't go the weekend without playing my Urtet deck. I've been carrying around my little mirror dice bag the entire time and having people comment on it and telling people about like my weird obsession with this creature type. So I had to go and play the deck. It did a little bit of work, but it was nowhere near the level of everybody else at the table. But I got to have so much fun with it. The other people there were having a blast. And it was just a really fun game. It was a nice little social interaction. There was nothing at stake. Everybody got the same amount of points for just participating in it. And so everybody had a really fantastic time. It was so much fun. Went back to go and double check on my cards, and where I thought I'd probably be getting like couple $100 worth, I ended up getting enough to be able to recoup my expenses for the weekend, which is phenomenal. You know, it were cards that I wasn't planning on using for anything at the time, and something that was just accumulating bulk in my binders. So it was great to be able to get rid of a lot of that and to be able to recoup the weekend in the meantime. Right after that, went straight over to the Pauper event that they had running. I was so excited to be able to compete. I've never been able to compete in an actual Pauper event, as much as I love the format, as much as passionate as I was with doing the video that I did before. I've never actually competed in the format itself. So that was a lot of fun. The one thing I was worried about was the recent unbanning of High Tide, and the first match that I got was a High Tide combo deck, which thankfully the professor did a video on it a couple of weeks ago, so I knew what to expect out of it. I just didn't know how to actually handle it. First game, he went straight into High Tide combo and ended up winning his game by milling me out. Second game, the problem with the deck is just that it has the opportunity to whiff on its game-winning turn, and I got incredibly lucky, and they did whiff on this particular combination. Third game, going into it, I think I finally found the line that I needed to, and so when he went to go and cast the first High Tide, I was able to successfully counter it, and he was not able to quite get up his combo that he was looking to do, so he needed to forfeit that again, so I ended up winning my first round. Kind of by default, so my deck really wasn't able to do what it wanted to do. So we moved on to the second round. Very different kind of a feel. This guy was playing Affinity. It was a Grixis Affinity deck. It was like a lot of fun. First creature that he played was a Mirror Enforcer, so you know, respect for that. First game I was able to actually get off the way that I wanted to. I was able to get my Tolarian Terror down onto the board, and then I was able to use my Fist of Flames out of nowhere in order to trample over and deal the damage that I need to in order to win. Unfortunately, my opponent sideboarded much better than I did, so he was able to compensate for everything. He had tons of red elemental blasts in there in order to make sure that I wasn't able to stick a terror, wasn't able to get my game plan on board, and unfortunately I lost in the second round. Third game that we had, I was up against a mono red burn. This deck was just way too fast for me to be able to keep up with. I wasn't able to put enough down onto the board in order to block the smaller creatures. The burn effects were just overwhelming for me, and unfortunately I did lose in 2 consecutive games against that particular player. But I had a great time being able to play all these decks. Gave me ideas as to what I may want to do in the future for Pauper. Definitely not High Tide combo. I don't think it's going to be sticking around forever, particularly if they continue to be able to give more pieces for it to be able to work properly, which, I mean, Wizards is always kind of coming up with these new crazy spells for everyone to be able to incorporate into these sorts of decks, even in Pauper. So I wouldn't be surprised if it eventually got taken, put back onto the ban list. But I mean, we'll just have to see how that works out. After that was done, I had all my accumulated points. There wasn't really anything in particular at the prize wall that I wanted to get, so I just kind of went for the default of going for Innistrad Remastered. It was a set that I absolutely love. I had just enough to really be able to get a collector's booster pack of that, and nothing really like huge that was jumping out at me. The big pull on it was a foil Old Border of Grizzlebrand, which is a gorgeous looking card. I love the Old Border. I have binders filled with just Old Border new prints of cards. I think it's a fantastic look, except for the Planeswalkers. I think they look like shit.